I am not now, nor will I ever be, an inbox collector, but I do have to say the packaging for Freakwency is absolute fire. This looks so incredible, and it's such a breath of fresh air from the boring Age of the Primes packaging. In fact, I think I actually like this more than the Surfer Boy pizza packaging for Code Red, and that packaging was also pretty cool, but just the way the van looks sitting inside there, and you have two different scenes on either side of the box, and we'll get a closer look at those scenes when we get him out of the box. I love how Transformers glows at the bottom, and I especially love the Squawk call sign up there with the 50,000 watts glowing neon. That looks super cool. But on the side, you see we have this really cool image of Freakwency. On the back, we get that second really cool office scene that's backlit with Freakwency, 8-Trax, and the Rubber Chicken fully displayed. Turn it back around to this side, and you see a cool scene of Freakwency busting through the wall, and then back to the front. Nothing very much on the bottom, nothing very much on the top. But yeah, this excellent packaging makes me almost want a second one to keep in the box. This whole scene, by the way, pulls right out of the box, so as you can see, it'll display just like that, and you can get a closer look at these scenes, and I'm sure there are lots of Easter eggs in there to be found. I'll leave that to the Stranger Things expert, but I do think it looks really cool. The flip side of the box shows us inside the radio station, assuming the other side wasn't also some other area of the radio station. I'm not an expert, but I do notice one thing really cool in that. One, you can see the booth there, but I also do see a blaster chilling there. That's pretty awesome. And by the way, I think that looks like the Legacy version, but I could be wrong. Anyway, again, these images are really cool and do make me slightly hesitant to toss them in the recycling. But we're not here for a box, we're here for a robot. And again, this packaging is really interesting. He's ensconced in this sort of clamshell-esque clear plastic packaging that you kind of pull apart with these little tabs that connect into place, which of course does mean that he is easily resealable if you want to put him back in the box. I think that's really cool that they give you that option. No strings required. Now, of course, the first thing that popped out of there was 8-Trax, our very first 8-track Transformer, I believe. And by the way, in the era that Stranger Things took place, they would have been fully into cassettes. 8-Trax would have been long gone, but I still think it's super cool that this exists, and I just love the look of it. In the show, the Squawk radio station loved using that Rubber Chicken sound, which is why Rubber Chicken merch became really popular. Although you rarely see a Rubber Chicken in the show itself. I couldn't actually find a scene of it. Regardless, we also get another first, I believe, a Rubber Chicken Transformer. He is a gun, and he is a Rubber Chicken, and that's all you need to know. The star of the show, of course, is Freakwency, and I love this alt mode van. I have been waiting for this thing since they originally announced it. There is something so wonderfully 80s and vibey about this van. I believe it's supposed to be close to a late 70s GMC Vandura, but you know who else used an 80s Vandura? The mother A-Team. I also remember loving the van from Midnight Madness, if you've ever seen that movie in the 80s. I don't believe it was a Vandura, but it was also a super cool van. But you know who else is a Vandura? Shredhead from the new comic line. And by the way, they don't have a mode yet. This could be a great repaint, although I'd love to see them get a new mode as well. Either way, can't wait to see Shredhead. Taking a closer look at Freakwency's alt mode, this thing looks like it jumped right out of the screen. The details, the paint apps, everything are so cool. I love everything about it. The prominent Squawk logo, the red, yellow, and green lines zigzagging across the back of it. That little window in the back, all those details are incredible. And I love Hawkins Hitmaker written across the front, and those translucent windows. Everything about it just looks perfect. Sure, it's a little bit panely, but otherwise it's an excellent alt mode. You see, it does have pinned wheels, it does roll really well, and they clearly focused on this mode. Moving in now to some size comparisons, we can start out with Code Red from the original Stranger Things collaboration. Another figure I absolutely love, though he is a little small, and you can see Freakwency's a little bit bigger. Up next we have JP93, the Jurassic Park collaboration, and another cool alt mode. And here we have Ectotron, which for my nostalgic heart is my absolute favorite alt mode. I love him so much. And we can't forget Agent Knight, of course Kit from Knight Rider, and another badass vehicle. I love these things.
Thank you, sir.
Now let's check out Freakwency's accessories, and we gotta start with this Rubber Chicken. As you can see, there's not a lot to say. It is in fact a Rubber Chicken. And it does have some articulation, I suppose. You can move the legs back and forward, but the head won't tilt or move any certain way, so I'm not sure what you would do with this, but it is a thing you can do, if you want to do it. Converting him into a blaster is pretty easy, however. Pull the breast part down just like this, and you're gonna take his head and spin it halfway around just like so. Coming around to the other side, you can pull this gray tab out, and that'll be the 5mm port Freakwency can use to hold the blaster. And once you've done that, go ahead and twist this all the way around so you have the blaster portion sticking out. Then you can close it back up, and there you go, you're good to go. Freakwency's rubber chicken blaster, ready to squawk on the enemies. And by the way, the attention to detail on that chicken skin is both impressive and kind of disturbing. But he will perch quite nicely on the top of Freakwency when he's in van mode, and that is certainly a look that you can have. Now checking out 8-Trax, once again, his 8-track cassette mode. You can see you've got the Squawk logo there with 94.5. On the bottom, it actually almost does kind of look like there could be a tape in there. On the side, you have the Squawk logo again. And the best I can tell, these are actual stickers. They're not tamper-graphed. And then if you come around to the back, you can see Rockin' Hawkins and that Autobot logo. Super cool. So to transform 8-Trax, we want to take these panels and get a fingernail in there and pry them down on either side just like so, one then the other. Now you'll take these gray pieces that will be his legs and just kind of slide them out until they click into place on either side. Next, just pull these interior pieces out flat on either side just like this. Now spinning around to the back, just hold these two panels here and pull them down flat just like this. Now spin 8-Trax over and then utilize this double hinge to push the back up and down just like that. Finally, we're going to fold this panel back and lay it flat. And the instructions show you tabbing it into a little tab on the back, but that slot is really small. So I just did the best I could to kind of push it back against it. I think that's all you really need to do. Now just twist that chicken neck around and you're pretty much done. And here we now have 8-Trax in his alt mode. To transform Freakwency, we want to start at the back of the van. Just take the top part here, get a fingernail in there, and just kind of pry it back and down just like so. Next, just pull him apart in the middle just like that to reveal the legs. And then, of course, we just want to untab those legs and close up these panels. And you can see there's a tab and a tab slot inside that panel. Just push them all the way in so the panels will hold in place. Now to form the heels, these panels here are on kind of a double hinge. You want to pull them all the way out and then push them up and slide them into place so that they press evenly against the back. So watch it here, kind of pull it down, twist it up, and then push it up into place, and that'll form his heels. Now spin back around to the front of Freakwency, and for his toes, you're just going to take the panels on the bottom here and just push them down on either side. Turning back around to the back, take the top of the van and just pull it away from the rest of the vehicle. Next, we want to pull out the arms. Start by untabbing the bumper there at the top, then kind of pull from the bottom and just kind of wiggle them out and pull them all the way out just like so. Same thing on this side, just kind of wiggle it back and forth and bring it out. To form the rest of the arms, take this panel and disconnect it and then slide it up just like so. Turn to the other side, we're going to do the same thing, disconnect the panel and just bring it up like that. Now we just want to pull that fist out, and then once you've done that, you can close that panel up. And then of course, just do the same thing on the other side. Finally, just bring the arms down and kind of shape them up on either side. And of course, don't forget to take his fists and twist them around till they're in the right position. And there you go, there you have Freakwency transformed into his pretty damn cool robot mode. You can stick his rubber chicken blaster into either hand you want, just like so, using that 5mm port. 8-Trax has two 3mm ports under his wings, so you can post him up on either one of Freakwency's shoulders, and he looks pretty cool up there. In robot mode, sure, he has pretty chunky headlight shoulders, but otherwise he looks really good. I love all these little details about him. I love the blue and red and the silver. That all looks great to me. The profile and backpack are still pretty slim, even with chicken attached, and from the back he also looks pretty good, although the arms are a little bit hollow. Otherwise, I love seeing all those radio station logo details popping up around his body. I just think that looks really cool. The standout feature though has to be that 8-track playing torso. We have plenty of cassette bot playing Transformers, but this is our first that plays 8-tracks, and that is so cool. While cassettes more often than not loaded with the trays like you'd see on Soundwave, 8-tracks were usually front loaders. That's why I think it's really cool that 8-track stores this way. Pull that panel down and then just push him in just like so. He'll snap into place, then you can close the panel right up, and he's stored away. And I love having the knobs and buttons and everything there as well. It's such a fun detail. And there is a 5mm port on the back, so if you want to store the rubber chicken blaster on the back, you can do that just fine. Yeah, I'm a sucker for these cool collaborations, and the nostalgia just hits me different. And yes, this is manufactured nostalgia, just like Stranger Things is, but I love a good 70s and 80s van, and I'm excited to see what else they might do with this mold. And that is why, once again, I will say I'm definitely probably going to keep him in his alt mode more often, as cool as this robot is. But yeah, it does have some limitations, and we can kind of show those when we show off his articulation. As far as leg articulation, you can lift up that crotch flap to give him a full front bend on the leg, and he has a full back bend as well. But he does have a problem with knee bend. If you look at the back here, when you go to bend his knee, that tab pushes against it almost immediately. And remember that that panel is tabbed in, so that's really all you're going to get as far as knee bend, and that is kind of a bummer. If you try to push it too hard, you're going to end up scraping the leg. He does have some ankle tilt, and you can swivel his hips a bit due to them being on mushroom pegs, even though I didn't show it. The arm will bend forward 90 degrees. You are constricted a bit with those giant shoulders. You do have wrist swivel, of course, so that's good. Surprisingly, he doesn't seem to have waist swivel, although it looks like he should. I couldn't get it to move, and I wasn't going to keep pushing any harder. I didn't want to break anything. You can, however, spin his arms all the way around if you move that giant shoulder pad out of the way, because they're on a ball joint. And the head swivel is pretty good left to right. It's a little tight, but you can do it. He only moves up a little bit and can only look down a little bit. So there's a little bit up and down, but not too much. Now looking at some size comparisons in his robot mode, he is basically Voyager size. You can see him next to Code Red here, who was a fairly tall Voyager, and he is almost as tall. Agent 9, on the other hand, does stand about a head taller than Freakwency. And here he is next to JP93, and sorry, I was too lazy to transform Ectotron. Personally, I think I would tend toward recommending Freakwency to anybody, not just Stranger Things fans. I think he's a fun, unique mold. And of course, I absolutely love the alt mode. That is the real strong point for me. That van is just super cool. But of course, he does come at a price tag. I paid 61 bucks for him today. And that's certainly going to be a factor for a lot of folks. This shit is just getting way too expensive. So yes, he is a really fun figure and he's a unique figure, but the question is he worth 62 bucks to you? And that's a big question. Me personally, I'm a sucker, I've said it before, and I'm also a sucker for these collaborations. I just think they're really cool, and I'm personally happy to add him to my collection. But as far as whether you want to add him to your collection, that's definitely going to be up to you.